Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Breaking the Silence podcast. I'm Luke.
I'm Kim.
And today we're going to talk about CE5 protocols, which stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Yeah.
And basically it stems from Stephen Greer, who back in the 90s founded CSETI, which is Centre for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence.
Yeah.
Back in, I think it was 1990, he founded that, and that's it's like a project to peacefully make contact with extraterrestrials.
Mm-hmm.
And he also founded the Global Disclosure Project, which
What's
is
that
that's trying to end secrecy on UFOs. So basically, it's human initiated contact to extraterrestrials. So it's through your consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So you send your consciousness into the universe, basically, and try and make contact that way.
Because a lot of long words.
A lot of long words. It's a mouthful.
It's very intellectual today. Hence why Glenn's not here. Because Glenn can't handle the intellectual stuff. So you can handle orbs. Can't, because that's a small word.
Yeah.
But extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yeah. And we're not allowed to call them aliens anymore, are we?
Apparently not. No.
No, because we might offend the aliens. Yeah. They don't like that word apparently. Who was it that said that? Was it this Stephen Greer guy, or was it Demi Lovato?
I think it was Greer.
Okay. Him and Demi Lovato were.
Yeah,
she's getting in there.
She's getting. As I say, ever since the past few years, since he did the CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind documentary you can watch. Ever since then, it's took off. Obviously, all this meditation and these protocols have been around obviously since the 90s. But since he's done this, started doing this disclosure project and all this other stuff regarding meditation, consciousness, CE5, it's took off. There's got an app you can buy. You can network with people on it. You can get in touch with local groups and go out and do it yourself. So everyone's like interested in it is getting into it now. So. And
you can watch his documentaries, can't you? Yeah. On what is it that you? Is it that Gaia?
I got Gaia. He's got some stuff on there. YouTube.
Yeah, clips on YouTube.
But I think some of it's on Amazon Prime. You've got your Unacknowledged, Serious, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and this new one he's just done. Close Contact, I'm thinking it is, something like that. I can't remember what it's called now.
What was the one you made me watch?
That was Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Right. 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Didn't watch the whole 2 hours, but I gave it a try.
Gave it a try, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
So yeah, tonight we're just going to talk about this CE5. Going to get a couple of guests on and look at their evidence and see what their experiences are.
So we're going to talk to Simon Benton, who runs the Facebook group for Mansfield and Notts.
Yeah, CE5 Notts Mansfield group.
Yeah, and we've done a few meditations with him. Even I've done a couple just to experience it. So we're going to have a chat with him and get more info from him about it. And then we have got another guest on tonight, haven't we? Which is quite last minute.
Yeah, very last minute. Joe Hodgson, his name is. So I only heard about him today and see some of his footage.
Yeah, and we're going to show you some of his footage that he's captured, and we're going to talk to him about what he's captured.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be interesting.
It sure is.
Yeah.
So you're wondering what the CE5 is, and you're thinking we're crazy. I know it does sound pretty mental, but if you think about it, everything in the universe is connected. Yeah. So why not? Why people go out there and talk to ghosts, talk to ghosts through mediums and stuff like that. It's pretty much the same principle, obviously with your consciousness and stuff. So why not do it with extraterrestrials and aliens?
Why not?
If it's going to work, why not?
Why not? Yeah,
I've done it a few times and I have experienced some stuff. So.
What, you've been took over by an alien?
No, not that far yet.
It would explain a lot of your activities.
I want to, yeah. It'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Is that why you trump in the bath and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go into a field, you sit there, you get these meditations up and you listen to them, you meditate yourself, send your consciousness into the universe, give out your location, where you are, etc. And you can, I think I've heard you can make contact in consciousness, but I want to see it on my own eyes, like face to face kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. So I think with my experiences, UFOs. When we've done it, I have seen some pretty weird stuff UFOs wise.
I have actually had a strange experience myself, which was with Simon and you. So, but we'll talk a bit more about that later when
we'll get Simon on.
Yeah, shall we give him a call?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. So yeah, firstly, this is Simon, and we've got Joe. You both all right?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Fine, thank you very much.
How's Zena, Simon, the dog? Is she all right?
Just fast asleep somewhere.
Asleep, yeah.
She's had a good run around today with the German Shepherd.
Oh, bless.
And the Shepherd had only 18 months, so it gave her a good run for her money today.
Yeah, oh, good. So yeah, well, firstly, what made you both want to get involved in something like CE5? And can you just give us a bit of an insight of what it actually is for people out there that might not know what it is?
Do you want to go first, Joe? Or?
Yeah, can do. Briefly, in sort of 2019, I was really getting involved in finding out a bit more about how this world works, and just discovered through YouTube mainly lots of videos about the UFO cover-up, and that there was more to this world than that we've been told. I was also watching videos about the pyramids of Egypt and how amazing they are, and without going into detail about that, it really kind of made me realize that there's something going on, and we're probably not alone in the universe. And certainly I became quite interested in the subject, started to read books about it and reading about other things as well around the UFO cover-up. And then in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I had a bit more time, and around the same time, Stephen Greer launched this app called CE5, which I heard about, and I'd already been researching Stephen Greer a bit, not just all his work, but this I don't know if you know about the disclosure that came through the National Press Club event and all that happened, and I was sort of hearing more and more about Stephen Greer's work in his time on the UFO topic, and it was quite fascinating. So when this app came out, I was like, oh, what's this? And CE5, for people who don't know, it's there is a scale. The name escapes me of who came up with the scale, but it's basically about different levels of contact. And the fifth level is where it's human initiated. So that's where the name comes from. So contact experience, is it? Or contact?
Close encounter of the fifth kind.
Close encounter of the fifth kind of thing, yeah. So it's number 5, fifth scale is where it's human initiated. So it's also the word HICE is used a lot, human initiated contact experience. So that's another thing that gets used to describe what happens. But initially, what this app did was during COVID was allow people to network and find out other people who had downloaded the app. So on it, it has the ability to send messages. And when I got it, I realized that probably about 20 people within the kind of Southeast London area where I live had downloaded it. So I send out a few messages, and I managed to meet 2 or 3 people through that. So we kind of got together a couple of months later, and we started to form a group, and it's been just growing slowly ever since. But I've seen C5 kind of grow in the UK and globally quite amazingly, actually, and it's quite incredible to see the number of people that just want to know more. So for me, C5 was about meeting other people who wanted to know more, and I can talk more about length about what actually happens and all the kind of meditations and stuff, but that's kind of a brief overview of how I went from discovering that we weren't alone to wanting to find out more and meeting other people, I guess. Yeah,
that's cool. I say with the networking, that's sort of you get into it as well, because when you get on the app, it's like you can put where you say your location, and it brings everyone up who's around you, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good way to get to know people. That's how I met Simon, wasn't it? Yeah.
My involvement to get into CE5 was first of the Disclosure Project, which Joe just said, from Greer in 2000. And then obviously his films, Serious, Unacknowledged, and Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and then his expose one. But initially, I had an experience when I was about 12 to 13. I lived near a military base, and there was a beautiful golden ball of energy just hovering 100, 200 foot above this base. And I was just gobsmacked by it. And as soon as I turned away, looked back, it was just gone. And that just got my initial interest for there's more to life than what the religious books tell you, but without going too much into that.
No.
And then I come across some stories of the Sumerians and the Anunnakis. Obviously the gods that come from Pleiades, and then you start to look more into history, then there's other stories of gods coming from Orion, and it then just sort of exploded in my mind that the possibilities of life beyond this planet is, it's daft to say no as it is to say yes. It's like a Mayflower, only lives 24 hours. If there's no sun in that 24 hours, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So if we never see a physical form of an extraterrestrial on this planet, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just tells me that all possibilities are possible. So obviously Dr. Gray does a lot. He pretty much kicked off the CE5 thing, but originally it was called HICE, Human Initiated Contact Experiences. But then you can go further back into time and see the Aboriginals, where they've made cave imprints of alien figures and stuff, and known of every ancient culture. You can go to the Hindus, and you've got the Varamas, flying spaceships and flying cities. And then there's even mentions in the Bible, Ezekiel, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that slightly wrong, but it's one of the books in the Bible, Ezekiel, he described a big thunderous object coming down, and he put a lot of measurements and technical information down. NASA actually rebuilt it, and it was a wheel that can go forward and sideways, and he described the roaring of the engine. He described a craft of some sort coming down to this planet. So the more I research it, definitely the crazier I sound, but the more it wants me to, I just want to learn and learn as much knowledge as I possibly can about it. But sometimes I baffle myself and I have to have a week off and just leave it alone for a little bit and then come back with a fresh mind kind of thing. But meditation wise, I think everybody should do it and practice it, even if just for 5 minutes a day. Or I mean, a lot of the time, I mean, I've been getting a bit lazy with it, so I've only been doing 5 minutes here and there compared to a few hours. But once the weather gets better and I can get back out into the field, then I'll try and build my consciousness energy levels up in preparation for when I go back out to put more effort into it.
Yeah, but so even if you're only doing 5 minutes a day, it's still something, and it's still keeping you in contact with yourself, basically. Like I said, just like 5 minutes a day, it works wonders, I say. So even if you can just do 5 minutes a day, just do it. I do it. I do it daily, pretty much. And
even just having a walk every day.
The fact of all this CE5 stuff as well, it's like it chills you out. It's peaceful as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Even just going out every day into nature.
Yeah,
just walking in the woods, or
yeah, just absolutely love it. I have to keep challenging myself.
Like people thinking there's nothing else out there. And what I like to say to people is how can you not believe in anything outside of Earth when there's like 800 million plus species on Earth, like other forms of life, and some like we've not even found yet. So I was like, just because it's on this Earth, like say all that life, you're just going to say that is that, and that's it, done.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
When you think of the numbers of the planets and the stars that are out there, it goes beyond trillions. I mean, you could gather every single grain of sand up on this planet, and there'd still be more stars out there.
Yeah.
And there's more planets to stars.
And then they say, well, why have we not found it yet? Well, I say we have. We already have.
Yeah. I definitely believe it have been visited in the past.
I reckon,
strongly believe that.
If I reckon we are the aliens, and there's us, or humans.
Really?
Really.
Okay.
I think we're a creation of the alien.
What's his name? Greg Braden. Have you seen this stuff on the missing links?
I'm sure I have. Yeah.
Because he goes on to say about the chromosome number 2. Basically, it's the biggest chromosome. It's the biggest chromosome in our DNA, but it was surgically cut and mixed with the 8 chromosomes, basically. So
that's why I believe that we was created.
And then humans just suddenly appeared on Earth over 400,000 years ago, and we didn't ascend from any other life on Earth, which is believed by the scientists.
Human history can actually go back further.
But they're not going to say that because of obviously religious stuff. So.
Yeah, called the forbidden archaeology and the forbidden history. If it doesn't suit the religious beliefs, then it's taboo, it's evil, it's not right. But all the religious Bibles and Hebrew books and everything, they're all based on a story that's 20,000 years older from the Sumerians and the Anunnaki on the King's List, where it does 4 different languages. So 4 different languages at least tells me 4 different types of civilizations that was able to connect with each other. So there's obviously some kind of advancedness just to be able to write, to understand what you're writing in 4 different languages. I can't speak or understand 4 languages. So that to me said there was a bit more brainy than me.
These kings are on the King's List that they have shown to be living for hundreds, thousands of years, and it's
36,000 years, 360 or something. The numerical number has something to do with the amount of months, hours, and seconds and minutes per hour. It all tends to be mathematics, geometry, which Nikola Tesla connected to with energy, vibration, and frequencies. Yeah, I think everything all relates to each other.
So UFOs as well are starting to be taken a bit more seriously, aren't they? The mainstream media, all of a sudden you're hearing it being reported on the news. Why do you think that is? Why all of a sudden do you think people are starting to take this seriously?
I think it's a case of a higher percentage of people have believed more than a higher percentage have not believed. The people are wanting answers and wanting to know what they're seeing in the skies. But a lot of social media and mainstream media is getting through the 98, 99% of BS to get to that 1% truth. It's like the Americans, they're all, they're real, the tic-tac, the gimbal, the go fast. But these have only ever been seen in an MOA, military operations area. They've not been seen anywhere else by any other pilots, thousands of planes up there every day, thousands of people on them planes. They've never been seen, only by the military in these designated areas. Which to me strengthens Dr. Greer's idea of it being disinformation, hiding something else. And I believe that the American stuff is actually advanced military technology, possibly their own. I can't quote the name of some of the projects at the minute, but there's always like a black budget project. And there was one, bugs me, I can't remember things. It was an object that went in front of a submarine that broke the water displacement so the submarine could go faster and more silently. And apparently this, I don't know how the object works, but it's down to black budget project of the military complex. There's technology.
You would have thought that UFO would have, or the device making the displacement of the water would have made more sound and more. Oh, what's that in the sky?
Have you heard of the TR-3B? That's one that gets mentioned. I wonder if that is a black ops.
I believe that to be black budget project.
And it does.
Technology.
It is interesting how the Nimitz incident, which you were talking about, the Tic Tac, that happened in 2004. David Fravor came out talking about how he had seen it, but that was all in the New York Post articles in 2017, and that kind of really did change the zeitgeist a bit in terms of people starting to really be aware. But it is something I'm pondering as well in terms of whether that's a controlled release, because maybe it was that particular incident was, as you say, a black ops project. There's not to take away the fact that there are UFOs and aliens out there, but there are also black ops. So for me, a lot of the interest that I like is looking at is the instance like the 1952 Washington incident or Roswell, or the ones that where there wasn't the level of ability to fake, and the black ops projects weren't around, and all that gives you more credibility in talking about those than the ones more recently, which the skeptics out there can quite rightly say, well, that might be black ops, or that might be fake CGI or whatever.
Yeah, there is so much CGI done out there nowadays. It's almost laughable sometimes. I'll go onto Facebook, and obviously I've got a lot of UFO groups, and this video will come up, and just straight away you can just feel it's not right. But every now and then there'll be one little bit of thinking that will make you think. If there's multiple cameras or multiple people, say you've got north, south, east and west, one person with a camera of each side of a city, they all take a photograph of something from different angles. That to me is a bit more evidential, plausible. But when you get these little 1 minute and 2 minute videos, I don't buy 99% of them. If I saw a UFO, I wouldn't be making a 1 minute or 2 minute video. I would keep my phone constantly on it, and I'd be talking at the same time I'm videoing. I wouldn't stop videoing. So getting through that.
At the minute as well, I think people are so heightened with what's going on in the news. It's 1 minute we're in a pandemic, next minute we're on the brink of World War III.
That's gone now. That's finished.
Oh yeah, that's finished now. It's all about what's happening with Russia and Ukraine and all the rest of it. I just think, why not? Why not have a UFO or an alien come along? Because at the minute, with everything that's going on.
Well, there is this. Have you heard the idea of the fake alien invasion? Stephen Greer mentions it as a potential future event that could.
That's the latest documentary he's just done. Haven't you watched it?
I've not watched. No.
Expose.
Contact has begun on it, or Close Encounters. What's it called?
I don't know.
Oh, Christ.
The serious, and then there's the disclosure.
Yeah, it's just released a new one, hasn't it, a couple of months ago?
Yeah, Expose. Really quick search.
You're finding it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll do that. So, with Stephen Gray, his aim is to make peaceful contact. To put his peaceful contact with extraterrestrials, basically. But then there's the other group, isn't it? Is it Tom DeLonge is involved with?
To the Stars Academy, that's another.
Is
another
that the
side.
one that's saying they are a threat? Am I getting that right?
Yeah. Expose of something.
There's the whole kind of there was this ORSAT program that was done in America, and that was given a £20 million budget to look into the UFO topic. Well, it wasn't UFOs; it was a whole bunch of things, the paranormal side, and there was an offshoot of that was the To the Stars Academy. That was later. That was a small budget thing, and Louis Alexander, who's, I don't know if you heard of him, he's sort of talking a lot at the moment on various podcasts. He was on that. And there was Tom DeLonge, Stephen Greer was also there. I think Stephen Greer was part of kind of introducing people. And there is an element to say that they could be pushing the threat narrative, but there's both sides of the story. I think they've been doing a service to the disclosure movement, personally.
Cool.
The Louis, I never pronounce his name.
Alexander,
Louis, and his little posse. I don't fully buy into them. I think they're on the gravy train of the UFO industry when it comes to making money. And this film that I can't remember that Gray has done, it's the exposure of people like that come out of these disinformation facts.
Yeah.
I suppose there is an element of truth there, but I think there's a lot of disinformation as well. Like them saying, we don't know what it is. We just haven't got a clue. I think they have got a clue, but just don't want to say what it is, be it technology or... keep getting flashed on the screen.
I've just got a gift from Zoom.
Yeah,
for new people coming into it and wanting to try it, I've spoken to a few people that want to do it, but they're nervous because they're on the edge. Are they a threat? Are they not a threat? What would you say to them, Joe?
Well, for me, it is about coming with an open heart and saying that you're ready to receive, the contact, and you have to come open-minded and with a loving side. If you think they're a threat, they're not going to come to you. I mean, I would say that nothing's going to happen. You have to kind of get away from that idea that they're a threat. They're not a threat. Yeah. The ones that come and do this, there's not to say that there isn't a history of potential abductions and all these things that people might think, oh, that's threatening. But when it comes to CE5, it is very peaceful. It's loving. There's meditations involved, which for me is actually something that I probably got more out of the CE5 events that I've done from that side, just being able to learn more about what people are doing from a spiritual growth perspective, being more meditative and more loving and high vibe. And all these aspects are things that you can't, I guess, do. Then you can't describe it apart from to say, just come along to the event and see what it's about, because the energies and the feelings that you get are something you can't video, and it's important. It's so important to have that. If you are at all thinking of it as a threat or you're worried, then you're not going to see anything. They're not going to. They know from the consciousness of the people in the group whether they're ready to come out and be shown.
If you're projecting fear, they're going to pick up on it, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they 100% will know, and they'll know not to show and not to cause any issues, because they don't want to do that.
No.
There's definitely a niceness of just being out under the stars with a group, not expecting to see anything. If something does come along, it's a bonus. Don't expect too much, is what I go out with. Yeah. But if I want to see something, but I won't be disappointed if I don't see something.
Yeah.
Because just actually being out under the stars in a group of like-minded people, it's the taking part to me, as well as hoping to see.
Have some good conversation, can't you?
Yeah. I think sometimes when you're having a bit of a laugh, and it relaxes anybody that has got any bit of fear or anticipation. Oh, what will my work colleagues think of me going out looking for UFOs? They'll think I'm nuts. And I think once people turn up to the group and it relaxes, I think all that just sort of goes out the window a lot.
Yeah.
But there is one other phenomenon I've been looking into, and that's the plasma phenomenon.
Okay.
Obviously, so many meters of height from the ground has got a certain amount of volts. No, not current, so it won't kill you, but volts. So once you start to get up to, I think it's 1,000 feet, it's something like 10,000 volts. So when you get to 10,000 feet to 20,000 feet, there's so much static energy and voltage energy up there, like the Foo Fighters in World War II. So many of the pilots describe seeing white balls of energy, so-called UFOs, floating around the planes, around the engines and all around the planes. Propellant engines are going to give a lot of static off. can that static interact with the natural voltage in that atmosphere level to create a plasma ball of energy, which can be pushed, it can drop down quick, it can shoot up quick, can disappear, can re-energize. So is it possible that a group of people all trying to meditate at the same time, can that possibly interact with the frequencies in the atmosphere to create a plasma ball? Like when I think it was a couple of meetings in, we saw that ball of light come up, turn up in the sky, move across and dissipate out. Could that have been a ball of plasma?
Is that when we was just leaving?
Was that the one I was on, Simon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah, yeah.
And then, like I say, we saw it again when we were leaving that time.
Yeah.
So could that be something that we are causing? I mean, it could be an interaction from an extraterrestrial, but I just like to try and look at a bigger picture with a really open mind to every slide.
We can one way to find out about that, and then next time we meet up, we'll try something different and do that. Obviously, do something like that.
Yeah.
Like just not doing the meditation for the contact.
Yeah.
If you wanted to try that, I'm sure we could put something together, couldn't we?
I think it's very important on CE5 events, or even looking into the UFO subject, is to still be skeptical and still try and really analyze what you're seeing. And when you're on CE5 events, you do try and find out where the satellites are, any flight paths of anything, any meteorites, and you try and sort of look at all possibilities before you say, oh, that could be otherworldly. And I was actually, I've got a podcast I'm listening, it's called Up the Vibe, and I was interviewing Preston Dennett. I don't know if you know him. He's a UFO investigator, researcher for about 30 years. And he said that he went to a house and he was speaking to a lady who had been seeing these lights every evening. And they come towards her and they get brighter and brighter, and then they kind of go off every evening. And she's been thinking this is UFOs, and she was adamant that there were UFOs by now because she'd seen them every evening. So he goes over to where these lights were coming from, and looks, and he finds that it's an airport, and it's basically all these planes are coming in every on the evening, and this woman was adamant that she'd seen UFOs, but it was just the plain light. So there's just an example of how sometimes the more prosaic example does actually prove right, and not all things you see in the sky are extraterrestrials. But even if it's only 1%, that's still a lot, and it's enough to prove that we're not alone in the universe, isn't it?
That one that keeps seeing on Facebook last few months. It's then is it the aeroplanes? They do stunts and stuff. They got fireworks shooting.
You saw
that. I saw it myself. The first time I see them, when I was driving past them, what the hell is that? I was shocked, and I was taking pictures and that. And as soon as I did the research, I found out it was these planes like just doing loops and stuff, firing fireworks off them. It looked amazing. I thought it was UFOs. But I keep seeing videos and I think, wow, that's a great capture. I'm trying to say no, it's these planes. I was in the same position. Yeah. But when you do that, sometimes you get shit like that, don't you?
Yeah. So Simon, would you say that experience that you had that night doing CE5 meditation, would you say that's been the best experience you've had? Because I also remember when that happened, what was weird about it was the movement, the fact of how quickly it did disappear and how bright it got. And I think I remember your radios, weren't they going off just a bit before that actually happened? So it all happened at once. It was really strange.
See, if it was a plasma phenomenon, that is obviously high energy. High energy has a frequency to it. The radios are tuned into that right frequency. They'd get disturbance off it. Sometimes if you've got a camera and you look at something nuclear, it will pixelate the camera. So obviously it's got a frequency to it.
Yeah.
So if we can possibly generate a plasma energy in the sky, I mean, I don't know, could the extraterrestrials send a form of plasma to say, we've heard you, we've seen you, without bringing a physical craft into our existence, of it, danger of it crashing, danger of it being shot at, and danger of it causing mass hysteria in a village. So could they just send a nice little subtle, here's a ball of plasma energy just to say hello? Again, all possibilities are possible.
Yeah,
Sure.
why not?
When I'm doing C5, I see a lot of orbs around, and that's something that is quite common as well. And sort of maybe linking back to the plasma side of things in terms of just they do look like balls of light, and they just sort of fly around everywhere. And they get more and more common during these events. So it sort of does seem to be initiated by the meditations and people. Well, actually, I'm pretty positive that they are. Yeah.
Even these like quick flash bulbs that you'll see in the sky. Could that possibly be a similar kind of thing? An extraterrestrial intelligence just giving us a quick flash. Yeah, I've heard you.
I see one of them when I was I must have been about 14, 15. I was camping out in my friend's back garden. And we was both just lay on the grass staring at the sky. And then the next minute, it's boom, big massive explosion of light just exploded in the sky, and then just like the state just shrunk back up. And that was my first experience.
Close to meteorites and shooting stars, they're going across.
No, it didn't go across. It just went boom, and went back in, kind of thing. It was so weird.
It's funny when you start to ask questions of people that you wouldn't think are maybe not involved in the topic. When you ask them, have you seen anything? So many people have had one experience, maybe two, that they can say, this happened, it was a bit weird. So I think the number of people who may be involved in CE5, or even, maybe talking to ETs in various ways, I don't know what percentage of people that amounts to, but the people that have actually had something that they go, that's a bit anomalous, they're like, what's that? I think that encompasses probably a vast majority of the people here on the planet. And you've got to remember that a lot of the stigma comes out of sort of more the Western media. But when you look at a lot of the cultures in the East and South America and around, where there's still a lot of that sort of spiritual side in their culture, and a lot of the stories and the myths that have gone back, way beyond our current times, that they've kept their stories. So there's a lot to be said for those people, sort of almost the idea that we're not allowed, or that we haven't been in contact, is alien to them, in terms of they're more attuned to that spiritual side and that kind of knowing.
Yeah, I definitely believe there's more people believing in it than not believing in it. There's more people accepting that there's there's more people accepting that there's a higher possibility that there's life out there.
So have you both experienced like contacts? Say as one, have you spoken to one basically? Via doing these protocols?
Not in person, but would I really know what one looked like?
But it's like some say when you're in a conscious state, they can contact that as well. Do you believe
I've
that?
had some quite interesting experiences through meditation, colours and visual things, but I can't say I've actually met an extraterrestrial through meditating mind-wise. But I have done some interesting Zoom sessions on remote viewing, and person's had a picture, and I've had some really interesting results doing that. So there's definitely something that we're more capable of that's been almost forgotten about or detuned from us. Through possibly a lot of it is through religion. I don't knock anybody's beliefs, but I just think religion has got in the way a lot of times in history and weakened people's abilities to remote view, to contact through telepathy. In how many times have you thought about somebody you've not heard of for a while, and then you get a text message or a phone call, or you bump into them in town? some kind of subconsciousness is in there telling you that you're going to be bumping into it.
Have you seen Third Eye Spies? There's a thing called Third Eye Spies with Hal Puthoff and Ingo Swann and all these that were involved in CIA experiments on remote viewing, and it's definitely real what they were doing. And
we keep meaning to do the experiment ourselves, and like I keep meaning I'm gonna do like an episode on it, but I just never got around to it, did we?
No.
So that's why I really want to try it. See, send it.
There's also a film on YouTube called Superhuman. I would really recommend watching that, because that blows your mind. That does. We have the ability to be blindfolded but still see. So that, in a way, tells me that it's your consciousness that sees first. It's your consciousness that relays that image to your eyes, to your brain. But in this documentary, Superhuman, they teach these children to do it, and they're completely blacked out, blindfolded, but they can read a book.
Yeah.
You can pull these colour cards out, and they'll say, yeah, red, green, blue.
Yeah.
They'll get a deck of cards out, and they'll go, yeah, 5, 6, 8. Or they'll be roller skating or kicking a football, completely blindfolded. And a lot of these children, they'll say, yeah, I can see that light. I can see that light energy coming from me. And now I can see anything I look at. It's mind-boggling, the documentary is. And they do a remote viewing session in that. And yeah, that's really worth watching. That one is. I don't know if you've seen that one, Joe.
I haven't. No, I'll check it out. Yeah, but it's stuff that I've heard before in terms of maybe I've seen a clip. I've seen a young girl reading a book with a blindfold on, and it's you think, oh, is she looking underneath? But no, I think there's something to it. Yeah, definitely.
So say everything's connected. There's can't totally forgot what it's called. What's it called? I always go on about it. The Summit Field, that professor, his name, he named after himself. What,
sorry, everything. You can say the Akashic field or the quantum field. So
yeah, it's something like that. But it says everything's connected.
Telekinesis.
No, it says everything's connected. He named this field after himself. It's called, I can't remember what it's called. Is it the Hodgson field?
Oh, you lot's memories are rubbish.
Yeah, I think I know what you're on about, but I can't remember.
That's why I tell people about this consciousness. I tell them about this field, what it's called, and what it is. It's been scientifically proven as well, and that's why you can do all this remote viewing, all this consciousness stuff, because everything is actually connected.
Yeah,
all points in time and space are connected.
What it's called.
I've been reading a book by Donald Hoffman, and that's about consciousness being primary, and the universe. His theory is that the universe is of conscious agents that all talk to each other, and the material side is a construct of consciousness. And there's a lot of people that talk about that kind of side. Consciousness is primary. But it was before I kind of got into the more, I guess, I don't want to say woo, but that sort of side of things, that I had already heard about this from the sort of science and the physics world as well. That maybe we think, there's something to this. Yeah,
definitely.
So if you actually did make contact, then what would you actually talk about? What would you actually want to ask? What would you say? What information would you want to get from them? I'd imagine a lot, but
any chance you can fill my bank up for me?
Yeah.
The first one. I would be interested in how old their civilization is. How many years more advanced are they to us? What's their capabilities of traveling? Can they travel from galaxy to galaxy? And can I go with them?
Yeah.
Why did you make us and then leave us?
Yeah, I mean, crikey, you could go down a rabbit hole with questions once you really start thinking hard about it. I mean, how old is the human race? What happened before us? What happened before that? What happened before that? Where did creation start from? What was that spark? Was it a god? Or was it just fluke of nature or whatever it was pretty amazing and outstanding to create everything that's been created so far. Even to create a universe that's continuously creating itself, creating new stars, new planets.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a million questions.
Sure is.
And when you go on these CE5s, you mentioned your radios. Is there any other equipment that you need to take when you go on these events?
Well, I think some people say technology is not necessarily there needed.
Yeah.
You can go with a video camera, you can video. There are these things called spirit boxes that some people use, but I'm not sure everyone might want to do that. That's a bit more on the sort of paranormal side. Okay, you know about that, yeah. A tri-field meter or something, or an EMF meter to see, just get readings of the area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With EMFs and radios, I suppose, and spirit boxes, anything like that, a mobile phone can be enough to interfere with equipment that you're using.
Oh, definitely.
Like the radios are quite sensitive. If I take my phone near the radios, they'll crackle, and I can make one individual radio crackle out of three just by simply moving my phone a little bit. So using technology, you've got to be aware of other technology interfering with experiments that you're doing.
I like to set me trusty compass either.
Yeah, compass is a great way of picking up any kind of magnetic energy or
especially if
any kind of energy in the
contact
atmosphere
as well, and it does actually start spinning.
Yeah, that would be something else if that could happen.
We've also got you got your binoculars. You got a good sight.
Binoculars are I think to experience the stars, binoculars are a must, because you can only see one eye with a naked eye. When you put binoculars on it, and you might see 20 stars around that one star. And as you slowly move across the sky with your binoculars, you think, crikey. And I think it makes the experience more better the more you can see. And that's why I always try and do events around a new moon. If it's a full moon, you can't really see that many stars, and you get your binoculars up and you get that brightness from the moon hitting your binoculars. So the darker the sky for me, the better when it comes to binoculars. And then obviously you've got your green laser pens.
As I say, your laser pen.
Yeah. Also, we've got to be careful where we're pointing them, but they can be really good for pointing stuff out to other people. It's like if you say to somebody, "Did you just see that?" or "Can you see that?" They're looking all over the place.
Yeah.
But with a green laser, you can say, "Look at that there." And everybody can concentrate on that one area and say, satellite or whatever. Then you can jump on your phone, go to Evans Above app.
Yeah.
That'll tell you whether the satellites, what satellites they are, whether it's the ISS, which gets so... I've seen that many videos of the ISS going over. People are going, it's a UFO. It's going too slow for a satellite and it's too bright.
Yeah.
But obviously they're at different orbits, different speeds and different reflections off the suns. And you got Star Tracker.
Yeah.
If there's something really bright in the sky and you can't quite decide, is it something or is it a planet? Point your phone at it, Star Tracker, it'll tell you what system it is, the name of it. So you can use technology quite good sometimes to rule things out. But you still got to be careful using it at the same time.
On events, I think you've got to have all your apps to you flight radar, you start tracking Heavens Above, just to keep on everything else. Joe, I've got a couple of your videos we want to put on here, if that's all right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which ones you wanted to do?
One I wanted to talk about, Joe, was the one that, well, there's two I want to talk about. One was the one that says 2 scouting orbs. Probably a daft question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What do you mean by scouting orbs?
As in coming to scout us out and check us out. I think whatever's out there sent off some things to check us out. It's speculation, but you know, it's what I kind of believe just from the energies of the area, and what I experienced at the time. This was an event last year that there was about 10 of us near Avebury, and there's quite a few videos from that event, so I could maybe I'll try and share it. Would you like to see that?
Yeah.
I'll try and
a very high energy area, Avebury.
Is that down London?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a beautiful area. So this is the channel. This is something I put together sort of end of last year to just get stuff out there. So these have all been taken on a camera I've got. It's a Boblov. It's a night vision video camera, and these were all taken at various CE5 events last year. So this 2 scouting orbs one. Shall I go for that one first, just because you mentioned it? So this is just, it's a bit jumpy, but you kind of look into the sky, and that's the best one to start with. But you can see this thing fluttering away, and I guess because it flutters away, you think, oh, you're not sure what it was, but that's one of them.
I think night vision is a good idea.
This is this is one of my favorites because
it's the UFO one. Yeah.
This is the one where I was just in my own garden and looking up and looking out, and then this let's see, that was a flashing down. These are the orbs going around me, but then this one appears, and I sort of said to it in my head, "Can you give me a flash?" It's just coming now. You can sort of, there's another orb. So I'm so excited. I say, "Can you give me a flash?" And then it does this sort of flashes really brightly.
Wow.
And I felt like I was in communication with it, and that for me was probably one of my favorites, despite I'm not the most.
And that is exactly what we saw.
That was exactly what we saw.
When we was at our event, Simon Monday, when we said, "Oh, that's the radio went off," then that came like this bright light, and we said, "Oh, can you make it bright?" Exactly what you did.
Yeah.
And it
did.
Yeah.
It just went out to blackness, didn't it?
Yeah.
So we were seeing, this is on a headline now, thinking about this, could this be headlights? But you see all the sort of the lights sort of merging together, but we were seeing this constantly, these sort of lights sort of splitting apart and then sort of merging together like this. Now we were speculating after there was this were these headlights, but this one as well in the distance kept on flashing this light. So this was a really energetic time. So I know you can't really get the energies through the video, but all these things were happening. Really, the energies in the area really kind of really strong, and something was going on, I think. And
these lights that you see, are they quite bright in person then when you're actually there?
Well, I'm looking at this through night vision, but the people around me who were looking just with their eyes could see them as well. So I'm kind of videoing in night vision, so you get really so they probably are brighter, but they're visible to naked eye, these things that we're seeing here.
That's my next.
You can see that, you can see it flashing like that, and you see there's another one appears.
Sometimes videos don't do justice to what you're actually seeing, to what you're feeling. Sometimes you can just feel something's right.
So these were. What did you feel, Joe, at the time when you saw these? Like,
well, it was quite odd because there was a sort of a storm that happened just before, so we're all freezing cold and the rain was coming down. We're like, oh, shall we give up? We just want to go back into somewhere warm, and we were starting to think about packing up, and then we had this idea, let's just stick around for a little bit longer. And then suddenly, when the weather kind of cleared a bit, and then suddenly in the horizon we just saw things happening, and we're like, right, we're sticking around. And suddenly we got this huge sort of show of all these different things happening, and it was almost as if as soon as the storm cleared, it just got really energetic. The whole area, when I say energetic, I felt like I knew something was happening, because I could feel like tingles on my arms, that kind of thing, so that was a big event. That was in Avebury. This one was actually, you can hear the voice, but it moves. Let's see. So you can see this, and you're thinking, oh, is it a satellite? Because you do get some things. And then there's another one appeared. And what convinced me, and I started shaking around, but there's two of them. They're coming together. You can see them sort of coming together. So the one of them's changed direction. All right, they're not satellites then. So it kind of makes you think, oh, that's not a satellite. Yeah, they're moving together. And you can see that there's this third one. They've just changed direction. And then you can see that that's now moving as well. There's a third one just over there.
That's definitely not satellites.
That's right. That's quite a few. Yeah, and they're moving like a weird sort of way as well, aren't they? They're not.
And have you got time to listen to this one? This is quite long, but it has got sound.
Do you think that like haze of light is kind of like a portal, or what?
I don't know what it's picking up, but I feel like there's loads of energy.
Yeah.
It's picking up lots of energy. And they're catching us all on film. It's flashes, yeah. He's dancing. Yeah, he did a flash. Flash, there. Flash. Brilliant. That is awesome. Is that the audio on it? The camera? It's listening to us, not the... Was that just caught us saying go flashing?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Did you catch it? Was it on?
Yeah.
Yeah? That was everything. Filmed it.
It just looked like flashing. It didn't look like side to side on it. Flashing? Are they flashing?
Yeah, they're dancing.
Yeah, they're flashing again now. It's really bright now.
Really bright.
Oh. I think that was a no, Alex.
Yeah. They don't play games, do they?
Oh, there we go.
1, 2, 3, something. No.
Oh, on the left.
There's 3 of them. Is that why they do? Yeah, there's one over to the left.
One, two, go on. Yeah. One more. Is that enough? Yeah, what? Yeah, you got it. They're like, it was totally bad. Come closer, please. That was satisfying. I didn't mind.
Oh, there's orbs down the bottom again joining up. Oh my god, this is insane. Literally, they just spread out like 8 of them and then they join each other like one by one and it disappears.
Very interesting. Where can people find this then, Joe, that's watching, that might want to check it out some more?
Well, sort of my channel or?
Your channel, yeah.
Well, here's Joe Hodgson.
There it is,
hasn't got. I've only got 8 subscribers. That I just haven't really posted it out there. So, but yeah, if people want to look on that, they can.
Yeah.
I might show something else that I was looking at earlier. If you guess it, I don't know if you can see as well. So this is I don't know if you heard of Grant Cameron and Jimmy Blanchett and these people that have. So there's this is a video that's an hour long. People check this out, but this is a compressed video of highlights produced by Jimmy Blanchett of CE5. What I'll do is
it's because we have
skip to
limited view
11 minutes
because we observe the universe.
People can listen to it, but there's a bit I wanted to show. So this is the radio side of things.
Okay.
So these are people that are just broadcast a message. There's lots of videos of people doing it, but there's a section where the radios are going off. Can you hear that?
So we just transmitted Jimmy's message, and all 3 of the transmitters lit up simultaneously.
Mark,
we just got to the house. We're making dinner.
Experiment.
And we are. Is it going off right now?
Yeah.
Magnetometer's going off. So we are getting activity. Oh, magnetometer is going off the charts. Oh my gosh.
I have got
Oh my god, this is really going off the charts.
This is crazy, so good.
This is going off the charts. Look at that.
Whoa.
And you had no activity here when you
It
walked
was
here.
zero. It was flatline.
This
all
is
the way over
this
here.
is like it's peaking all the way, all the way, all the way.
It's going. Ooh, 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 ooh.
I couldn't even
Oh my
breathe
gosh.
before. Like it stopped me breathing. It was just,
Oh, bring your magnetometer here real quick, please.
yeah, let's check and see what.
Let's just make sure that we're not picking up anything
is
else.
it like those lights?
Oh my God. Put it right next to Kim's so I can see it. Holy, okay.
They're synchronized.
Is it?
Shut the lights off.
Shut
shut
those
the
lights
light
off
off.
and see if they may be causing.
No, they're still going nuts.
It wasn't picking up anything over there.
So that was interesting how it sort of, it's not the camera that they're using it. Maybe.
So,
It's
and
still
then-
going off over here.
Okay,
It was
so it's
completely
doing
dead
that.
over here.
I know when you were standing here, nothing.
All the lines just
Yeah.
like that came on. Let's see if you're.
So I don't know if you want to see more of that, but there's also just a quick video of. I'd recommend seeing this, but these are UFOs
Mhm.
that were seen in the sky while they were doing all these objects, taking footage. So this is a UFO. This is a daylight sighting, so I tend to do C5 in the evening, but you can get them in during the day as well.
Yeah, and it's called it's third phase of moon on YouTube. They've
Oh, yeah.
done quite a few where they had daytime sightings, and I can't remember his name, but one guy he just sits in his garden and he just looks at one particular point in the sky, and he'll just meditate on that one point in the sky. Keep asking for a visit, and a couple of times it's had bright white flashes or like a ball of energy like that just appeared, moved, and then disappeared. But yeah, daytime is definitely possible.
Yeah, sure.
That's when there's a clear sky in England.
Yeah,
Which is
I
getting
thought I
quite
saw
rare.
it the day before. It was just like
Yeah, so
white light stood just right like above me. It didn't move for at least an hour. It was so weird. And that was 12 o'clock in the day.
Yeah, when something just stays there and don't move, that becomes more curious to me than
Yeah, sorry.
something that moves in a straight line.
I thought it was a star, but obviously it didn't move at all. Not even with the time of the day. Like I say, it stayed there for about an hour and then it just disappeared.
Yeah, that's not unknown to happen. That.
Is there any more questions you want to
I
ask?
think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. So Joe, what's the name of your podcast again? Just so
it's called Up the Vibe.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go check that out. And you do other paranormal stuff as well, don't you, on there? So
I'm interested in all aspects of this, and there's been just recently I had this guy called Paul Hamden on, who was a medium in Australia, and he's been talking directly with Zetas, which are from Zeta Reticuli. So that was crazy chat about that.
Wow.
I've got another medium had on not long ago, and I've got someone coming on Monday as well to talk about their book, but they're a spiritual healer and things, and they've got a lot to talk about on that side of things. So it's incredible when you get into the world how many people are involved in it and in all these different areas.
Yeah. So go check that out.
Check that out, definitely. And if you are obviously if people that are interested in wanting to join up with like-minded people on groups, there's the Facebook groups, isn't there? C5 UK, C5 Contact app. I think there's a new one, UK CE5, that's just popped up. I've seen.
Okay.
But if you're going to see CE5 UK, put your message in there, and like you say, you'll probably contact South East London. You've got Simon who does Knox, Mansfield. There's at least 100 now, and 100 different groups. Would you say?
Yeah, there's all sorts of groups all around the country. Some more active than the others, but there seems to be something for everyone.
Sure is.
Yeah, I think. Pardon?
March, isn't it?
When's the next event, Simon?
26th of March.
You're going to that, aren't you, Luke?
She's got mates coming around, so we're going
so
out.
I'm cooking them out. Yeah.
I'm hoping to have some night vision binoculars by then, recordable ones.
Yeah, we'll
so
see if you're good.
Yeah.
we're going to leave it there, I think, because time's getting on now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it all night, though.
It's got the airs to go out now.
I
might go back and sit in the garden and do something.
Yeah, you can. You've got to sit out in the garden then. Yeah. All right. See you later then.
If it's a clear sky, which is getting quite rare at the minute in the UK, I'd love to take the dog for a stroll.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pleasant Pit's close to me, and I love to go up there at night.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it is a bit cloudy, there's that much wildlife up there. I've got a new flood lamp, so I can light that entire field up now.
Yeah.
And I was seeing badgers up there.
Wow. Yeah.
Right at the top of the hill, there's a family 3 badgers.
Oh.
So it just really is a nice place to be.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, guys, I want to thank you for coming on and thanks for taking part, basically.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for showing us your evidence and talking about it. Appreciate it. Yeah.
It's been really good insight on it, and
Yeah,
hopefully people who want to join and get involved can take some information from this and hopefully use it, can't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then.
So
Well,
cool.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
All right.
That was a good chat, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Some good footage Joe's got.
Yeah, it was. I really liked the UFO one that he showed because it was pretty similar to what we saw.
And normally the three with different directions.
Yeah.
I was trying to find. I got some footage myself, but I can't remember what I did with it.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if it was on my camera and I didn't get it at that quality.
Good. That was good.
I'll have to get thingy.
So yeah, like I say, if you guys listening want to join in, and you're from our area, not Mansfield, there is a Facebook group that you can join. You could either message Luke or Simon. I'm sure they'll advise you on what's best.
Just got to go on Facebook, Luke Allerton, Breaking Paranormal UK.
Yeah.
Simon Benton, CE5 Knots Mansfield, and we'll just. These also, if you've got to buy the app, it's the £10 app. It's called CE5 Contact. Looks a bit like that. So if you can see it, come up with a thingy. It's a good app to have. It will cost you £10 though. Yeah.
He's making his money, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, check it out. If you're interested in that sort of thing, go have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
For today.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching and happy hunting.
Bye.
Bye.